My name is Tom Pache, and I am a product manager at Epson, and I manage our line of interactive projector displays. And today I'm going to talk to you about a software package that we recently launched. And before I do that, I'd like to queue up a video. And oops, I'm going to go back one. I'm going to queue up a video, a short video to play, and then we'll jump into the presentation. Okay, so as I mentioned, I am the product manager for interactive displays at Epson. Our Brightlink interactive displays are the world's best-selling interactive projectors for education. And so now we have a new software to go with our Brightlink interactive displays, and that software is called Brightlink Go Board. And what it is, it's a collaborative whiteboarding solution that allows teachers and students to be connected and using a unified platform where they can all contribute, annotate, add files, photos, videos, and such. So it's a real robust type of software solution. It also features a piece called the Teacher Console, which I'll talk about in a bit. So it allows teachers to create, manage, and deliver lessons to those connected devices in the classroom. And of course, the overall hope is to increase student engagement and productivity in the classroom. So if I was to talk about some of the top features of Goboard, as I mentioned, it creates this dynamic whiteboarding space. So it has all the typical features you would expect in a whiteboard, like pens and erasers and such like that. But it allows the teacher to create start a session that would be displayed on the Brightlink display, and then they can open it up to other devices in the classroom to connect and contribute and annotate it as well. But in addition to just annotation, you also have the ability to import files. So you can drag and drop videos, photos, Microsoft Office files into that interactive space, and they can be displayed on the whiteboard and then shared out to the student devices. We also have some very basic whiteboard features, such as inserting shapes and objects. You have the ability to add as many pages as you would need, select backgrounds. One of the cool features that it supports is speech to text. So it allows a teacher who has a microphone to speak to the whiteboard and select different pens and utilities. Also, handwriting recognition. So if you're like me and you have very sloppy penmanship, you can write on the board and then convert that to text. Also, there's the ability to record lessons within the whiteboarding software. So once you start a session, you can hit record and record as an MP4 file. So if someone is missing from the class and needs to make it up or wants to go back and watch, they'll have access to that file after the class. You also have integration with your document camera. So if you're using an Epson document camera, you can connect it and use to show live video in the class, as well as do screenshots and items that you might be showing under the document camera. There's also a built-in timer. So should there be quizzes and things installed, presented on the whiteboard, you can set a timer for those to allow students to give them a certain amount of time to answer the questions. And you also have the ability to print and save any of the content that you would do on the whiteboard. I mentioned the teacher console. So the teacher console is a piece of software that runs on a Windows 10 based PC, and it connects to another piece that we call the hub. So there's a Goboard hub that runs on a Windows 10 PC. It's connected permanently to the Brightlink display. The teacher console would be running on the teacher to create lesson plans and plan for the class. And then when it's time to initiate a lesson, the teacher would transfer their lesson from their device to that hub that would collect the lesson and display it up on the Brightlink display. So you can share lessons to any from any console to a hub-enabled PC. When you get the software, it allows you to install this teacher console on as many as 5 PCs. So if a teacher has a PC in the classroom and then one at home, or perhaps you have an environment where teachers share a room, and so you have different teachers coming in, you can install multiple teacher consoles to allow to connect to that Brightlink display. So also having this console allows the teacher to be free from being tethered to the whiteboard. So the teacher can move about the space with the console and be presenting a lesson because it'd be sent wirelessly through the hub software that receives and sends to the Brightlink display. So one of the really cool features that I love about Goboard is the web-based tools. So you have the ability to, by using the toolbars at the bottom of the whiteboard, to insert a browser. So it includes a Google browser. So if a teacher's talking about a certain subject and annotating and then wants to go to maybe some kind of current events or news website, they can just insert a browser and go directly to that site. They can navigate the browser from within the whiteboard space as well. Also, you have the ability to not only insert a browser, but you have the ability to insert any images or videos. And how that works, it's using a web search. So basically you put in your subject of interest and you have the ability to, it'll query the web and it'll come back and show you the top images, at which point you have the ability just to grab them, drag and drop onto the canvas. They can be resized, moved anywhere around the whiteboard space. They can be cloned and such. So again, some really powerful tools that allows a teacher to use web-based content in addition to any content that they've prepared ahead of time. The Goboard solution is a multi-platform solution, and what I mean by that is, yes, the hub software would run on a Windows 10 based PC, and it is the one that receives the connections from the other devices. But those other devices can include not only PCs, but Chromebooks, Android devices, and iOS devices such as an iPad or iPhone. And so it supports bring your own device, because all you have to do is install the apps onto those devices, and the student apps are always free. As I mentioned here. So again, so the ability to attach any of these devices to a lesson that a teacher has initiated, and the students would get the same display on their device as what's on the large display. And when they join, they're joined in a read-only mode, so they can follow along as the teacher manipulates goes through the lessons and works with the subject matter that's on the display. But then the teacher can also grant access, write access for students, so they can work from their connected device and interact with the same content that the teacher is sharing. Goboard also includes wireless casting. It has a component called Air Server, which is, again, basically a multi-platform casting solution. So it allows the teacher to enable the whiteboard and make it put it in a receiving mode for content from other devices. Until the teacher does that, those students would not have the ability to cast content. But once the teacher grants that access, the student can be connecting through an iOS device, a Chromebook, an Android device, a PC, using AirPlay, Miracast, or Google Cast. When this happens, you can connect and display from up to 4 different student devices simultaneously. We wouldn't recommend doing more than that, because at that point the screen becomes a bit cluttered and hard to read. But that access, again, is controlled by the teacher, and the teacher can maximize, minimize, disconnect any student device from the whiteboard if need be. Also, Brightlink Go Board allows you to integrate with your conferencing software. Further than that, it actually allows you, it has an app launcher from within the whiteboard. So you don't need to exit the whiteboard space to access some of your favorite programs, whether that is PowerPoint or Excel or a Word document. You can get those and drag and drop them right into the canvas. But also you have the ability to launch your favorite conferencing system. So if you have students at home and they're following through Google Meet or Teams, something like that, that whiteboard would be displayed for them at home so they can follow along as well. Brightlink Go Board also has a polling and a chat feature built in. So the teacher, when the teacher creates lessons, can also create polls or quizzes that are embedded in the lesson. So as they are going through the different concepts and topics, at a natural break point, the teacher can drag and drop a poll into the whiteboard space, and that poll would show up on the student devices. So the students can then respond to the questions that the teacher is asking. And there's many different types of questions that can be created. Some shown here on the slide here, that true and false, multiple choice, multiple answer, open answer. So it's a really cool tool for teachers to, like I said, make sure that their students are grasping the concepts as they move forward in the lesson plan. So from the student side, as I mentioned, there are student apps that exist for Chromebooks, iOS, PC, and Android devices. And from the student side, the students can draw and write on the whiteboard once they're given access by the teacher. They can add their own images, they can add PDFs, add a video, and basically navigate and control the whiteboard from their space. Again, that access that is granted by the teacher is at the whiteboard, so the teacher can enable that access or disable that access at any time. Brightlink Go Board Software is a license-based software, subscription-based, and so it's available in 1 or 3 year increments. As I mentioned, it does run on Windows 10, so it does require a Windows 10 based PC to be connected to the interactive display. Aside from that, the teacher console would run on a PC as well, but any of the student devices could be, as I mentioned, an iOS device, a Chromebook, Android, PC as well. And all those apps that are available for free to students and can be installed on as many devices as you wish. Currently, we have Goboard Software available for free trial. It's available at epson.com/goboard. So that software can be downloaded. As I mentioned, that hub and console software, that's what you'd be getting. It would give you a 30-day trial license, which you can install the hub and console and begin working with the whiteboard software just to get a flavor for what it can really do. One other point to add is, while it is Brightlink Go Board software and it's designed to work with our award-winning Brightlink displays, it also works with any other interactive display, because as I mentioned, the software will be running on a Windows 10 based PC. As long as you've attached that to the display device, that interactive space would work regardless of whether it was a Brightlink display or a flat panel. In terms of the pricing, we have what we call Brighter Futures pricing, which is education-based pricing that would be less than normal MSRP pricing. As I mentioned, we have 2 options available, a 1-year license and a 3-year license. And that would be a per room basis, because you would install the Brightlink Go Board hub and attach to each display in each classroom. And so it has a cost of $119 to start with, and then renewal fees at $99 per year. As I mentioned, it allows you to install 1 hub per room, and then it gives you up to 5 teacher consoles, as I mentioned before. So if a teacher has multiple PCs, or if you're sharing classrooms, you'll have the ability to interact, and you'll have those other teachers would be able to interact with the Brightlink as well. This is a new product, and it has just begun shipping. As I mentioned, I would encourage people to go to the Goboard website to download and test out the software. And also we have a landing page specifically for the Goboard software that I mentioned. Is epson.com/Goboard, and that's where you can read up on more of the different feature sets, how it works, how to install the software, to get that free trial. We also have videos on there. We have how-to videos as well as some promotional videos that kind of give you a greater flavor for the software. So I would definitely encourage any of our guests today to go to epson.com/Goboard to learn more about this solution. And with that, I'll open it up to questions. So Nicole, the questions are in the chat, is that correct?
Yes, I do see questions in the chat. We have a question from Juan Gonzalez. Can 2 units be connected to make a larger screen?
With our Brightlink interactive displays, yes, you can install 2 side by side and have it an adjoining like ultra wide screen that you could use with Goboard. Yes.
I have another question here. The question is, can you still use Epson Easy Interactive Tools?
Yes. So this is basically a more robust software solution. So Easy Interactive Tools is a software that we've shipped with Brightlink forever, and it has, very simple, basic, straightforward whiteboarding capabilities, such as drawing, erasing, stuff like that. But some of those features that people have been asking for years, the ability to annotate on PDFs, the ability to share video, the ability to import Microsoft files, things like that. That's some of the things that Goboard adds that you wouldn't get with Easy Interactive Tools. Also, the ability, the casting capability through Air Server, as I mentioned, allowing students, regardless of their device, to cast their display up to the Brightlink display.
Thank you so much for that. And I see Karen is here.
Hi, everyone. Any other Epson related questions that anyone has while we're here?
I don't see any questions, but we'd love to hear about your availability.
Okay, yes. Well, it's software, so availability on software is really easy, but I can let Karen address some of the about hardware products.
Yes, so as with all consumer goods in the US and greater in the world, I guess you would say, we are facing challenges due to both the chip shortages and the rail and port issues. and delays. So there's a lot of actual issues that factor in with this, including COVID-related factory limiting on manufacturing personnel, all kinds of things. So what I'm trying to do is provide, the best information I can per product when it's available. So just reach out to me if you have a question on a specific product. In terms of how we're providing ETAs, I can let you know at the time you are placing an order for a specific product, what the available month is for that product at that time. And if we need to check on earlier orders and things like that, we sort of have to do that on a one-off basis. You can reach out to me, or I can work directly with Melissa if that would be helpful. Oh, and yeah, also with demand being, through the roof, like Dave said, and all of the government funding due to COVID and all of that, we are it's a perfect storm of, a lot of demand and a little bit of supply. So it's all of that. I mean, there's a lot of factors that are going into this, and a lot of education institutions got a lot of funding that they're now spending. So, we're just being hit in every direction with the product delays and product difficulties, I should say, in shipping.